The Lunar Guardsman. Written by Krimar. Chapter 9. Stop. Donut Time. Part 1. Will you freaking stop nibbling on my neck?
I crave the taste of the blood,
Pinkie Pie cried out, her tongue running over her chops. She raised her hoof dramatically, reaching for the sky beyond the ceiling.
I must feed my cursed unending hunger,
She announced grimly. She swiftly lowered her hoof back down and leaned backward so she could look Raiden in the eyes.
And I'm not nibbling, I'm piercing your neck with my vampire fangs.
Raiden pushed her on the table in front of him and leaned to his left, inspecting the bite on his reflection on the shop's window. Outside, a young colt that was watching him in fascination jumped back at the sudden movement. You damn well gave me a hickey. I told you you can't be a vampire, little pink, 'cause I'm not one. You are just incredibly weird. It's a completely different kind of curse, and I'm the one suffering the effects. Pinkie Pie crossed her forelegs like Raiden often did.
Then why do I feel an overwhelming urge to feast on something red and squishy, huh?
Her hoof rose up to point at the vampiric sire.
Explain that, Daddy-O.
Sweet heavens, fine. Raiden picked up his plate and surrendered it to Pinkie Pie. You can have my cherry donuts. Are you happy now, little pink? Pinkie Pie lifted her newly won treats over her head in celebration.
My Vamponi mystical powers of persuasion have finally manifested. I'm gonna rule the night, dance in the moonlight, and drink the blood of the Pinkie Promise-breaking ponies.
Pinkie Pie slid in her seat next to Raiden, already taking her first taste of her conquest.
I have already laid claim on the first part, Pinkie Pie,
Luna monotoned from her place on the other side of Raiden.
but you can go forth with the other two.
She emboldened the pink pony. Raiden hit the table with his fist. Damn it! I told you all, don't encourage her. She wanted me to fire her teeth into canines yesterday. I am the one who has to put up with her adorable madness. He briefly tussled Pinkie's mane before waving his arm towards the counter, but Donut Joe was too busy with another client to pay him notice.
How are you feeling, Raiden?
Twilight asked. Hungry and sour, he answered. He was frowning as he watched Pinkie ravage his meal.
No, I mean in respect to your health. Any dizziness, weakness, is your vision...
Raiden put his palm over her mouth to silence her. At least he wasn't putting the whole thing in there, as certain ponies tended to do. The taste took a whole day to fade. Little one, I fainted once for 10 minutes 2 days ago. I am fine. He indicated Pinkie with his thumb. Look, she is okay. There is going to be no more blood drinking. Pinkie Pie paused her happy chewing to make a disappointed sound, and Raiden poked her nose. My wounds are starting to close up, finally, and I've been taking it easy for a couple of days. Now if I could actually eat something... Raiden lifted himself up a little, as if he needed an order to stand out, and beckoned for Donut Joe's attention once again.
That wasn't 10 minutes, Dad. You woke up 2 hours later. Twilight is right to be a little worried.
Spike corrected him. Exactly. I woke up 2 hours later, 'cause I took the chance to nap. I'm very sneaky like that. Raiden kept waving. He leaned towards Spike. Is Joe ignoring me? He asked suspiciously.
Spell,
Luna said laconically beside him. Right. I forgot. Raiden stood up. Pinkie and Rarity and Rainbow scooted back in their booth seats to let him pass. I'm going up there and getting something myself. Do you want me to bring anything, little flame? Or how about you girls? Luna?
2 more gem-encrusted donuts if there are any left,
Spike ordered.
What are you getting?
Asked Pinkie Pie. Raiden pointed towards the plates to spread around. While they made a mental recount, his first order of chocolate donuts had been claimed by Luna to escort her own order. His apple-glazed ones were currently being shared between Applejack and Rarity. The vanilla cream ones he bought in their place were the ones Twilight was eating along with Rainbow and Fluttershy. And Pinkie Pie was munching on his latest attempt. Any guilt Twilight might have felt was washed down by her juice that cleaned her palate for another taste of the delicious, creamy filling. I'm going to see if he has plain bread or something. Maybe something burnt. Twilight rolled her eyes at him. No, he was just being dramatic.
A variety of smaller ones that I saw on display would be welcome,
Luna said.
I wish to taste more samples of his amazing confection. I would like some too, if it's not too much trouble,
Fluttershy said with a smile.
Heck, just bring a big platter of those. These are the best donuts I ever had,
Applejack added with enthusiasm. Verity reached for him before he moved away.
I'm sorry, darling, but are you sure your friend is going to be here? He is kind of late, isn't he?
Raiden glanced at the clock over the register.
He will be here. He is just a lazy son of, something. He just probably didn't want to get up before noon.
He left them and stepped back into the large line that had formed up before Donut Joe. The ponies in the front glanced him over their shoulder for a second before staring straight ahead, barely daring to move. Twilight took the opportunity to interrogate the only half-reliable source she had as far for Rigdon's health went.
Luna, is he actually fine? He hasn't been pushing himself, has he? No, he is honest.
Luna assuaged her.
We have been spending most of our time recuperating, talking and making some hypotheses. We haven't even spent an iota of time going over our projects for the last 2 days. We should get to it later today,
she said, going into planning mode. Twilight did her absolute best to keep her face passive. She quickly crammed a bite in her mouth and started to chew. It wouldn't do to let Luna know that Twilight was aware what their projects were about.
The rest of the time he has spent with young Spike and some chores he set upon himself, like talking to my sister,
Luna continued. She looked into Twilight's eyes with some concern.
I'll do you the favor of letting you know in advance that Rigdon is not very happy with some things that have come up, but I will let him inform you himself on the steps he has taken to correct them.
Twilight for her anxiety making a comeback. Spike looked puzzled at Luna's statement as well. Who knows what Spike had said and what the meeting Rigdon had pulled out of it. She decided to forget about it. She already had enough on her plate. If it was something that really upset Rigdon anyway, he would have brought it up already. She spent a few minutes happily chewing on her share while talking over the details of the first story night they were organizing. The girls were overly excited about the upcoming event, exchanging preferences on the genre of stories they wanted to hear, and how they could use Luna's proficiency of illusion spell work to enhance the experience. Luna herself, infuriatingly, kept insisting they should perform a larger version of the spell she cast in her impromptu session a couple of days ago.
I'm telling you, Luna, you can't do that. It's not moral and it's illegal. I am the princess of the realm. I am the law. How can it be illegal? I'm only going to cast a low-powered suggestive spell, something to put our guest at ease with ourselves.
Luna countered, frowning.
It's still morally reprehensible. Morally reprehensible?
Luna spat.
Tell me, Twilight Sparkle, is it not also morally reprehensible to have everything you ever done thrown back in your face and have all your works rejected because of the actions that were not your own? Luna, please.
Rarity interjected herself in the conversation.
You have to understand, even after all this time later, ponies are still afraid of Nightmare Moon. It is not fair to you, yes, but it is understandable, is it not?
Luna brought her hoof on the table, shaking every plane on it. Twilight noticed with the edge of her eyes Rigdon looking back at them with obvious concern while waiting for his turn.
I am not referring to my time as Nightmare Moon, but before that. I acted as a morally superior mare, and all it got me was loneliness, suffering, and eventual banishment. I think I would like to try being a little more lax in my ethics now.
Well, your sister might not appreciate the sentiment, though,
Applejack said.
She said she's gonna be there, did she not?
Fluttershy nodded.
Oh yes, she found me out in the gardens yesterday while I was looking for a good spot for us to set up and she asked me about it. She was very thrilled with the idea.
Luna was thoughtful.
Celestia was never near as good at subtlety and spellwork as me, but even she would notice something with such a large radius. She would not approve of it, not without extensive explanations, and even then...
Luna tapped her hoof on the table rhythmically as she thought.
Fine, Twilight. I withdraw my suggestion. I will limit myself to illusion magic for the duration. Is this acceptable?
Twilight let out a breath as she was holding, one step done with it.
It is. Thank you. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly did you do before? The books only mention something about you guarding dreams. Dreams?
Luna gasped.
Are you telling me that is all that's left of my service to Equestria? That was just a pastime, or a hobby you could say. I was keeping the dreams of foes free from nightmares, especially those that had gone through tragic experiences.
Rainbow Dash pulled back her hooves she was keeping protectively around her plate to keep Pinkie Pie from accessing her booty.
You can actually see Pony's dreams? Have you seen mine?
She asked with evident rising stress.
I can, and yes. It is a conscious choice, however. I do not know what you dream of unless I specifically attempt to find out.
Luna explained.
I was never very good at helping the foes anyway. All I could offer was a short reprieve and a few words of advice, made up on the spot that could hopefully help them. Of course, some of them tended to have nightmares of me afterwards. This is all very interesting, Luna, but you still haven't told us. What were you actually tasked with doing?
Rarity prodded. Luna turned her gaze to the sunlit streets outside. Twilight was fascinated by the effect that Luna seemed to have on her surroundings. While they were all bathing in the sun rays coming through the large window, Luna seemed to always find a place with shadows to stand, or the shadows seemed to find her. Even her reflection on the glass was extraordinary. While Twilight could barely see her own, Luna's was mirrored perfectly on the glass as if it was dark outside.
Maybe we should save this for the event you're planning. These are not stories that should be told under the sun,
Luna said sadly. Twilight tried to shake off the effects of this morose statement.
Alright, let's talk about security then. Shining Armor has 5 or 6 guards in mind that he absolutely certain will be no problem for us at all. Only that few?
Luna asked.
We don't want ponies thinking there was going to be trouble at something like this. Shining will be there too. Besides, for some peculiar reason, I don't think you or Regden would trust much more than that around.
Luna smirked.
True. I insist, however, that Regden keeps on his armor as well as his weapons. That might not be the best choice,
Fluttershy cautioned.
The little colts and fillies might get scared. Tough,
Luna said with a shrug.
We are endangering his life enough by having him stand in our place for hours at an event ponies will know he will be at beforehand. Without his armor, all it would take is a simple rock thrown at his head with enough force to kill him.
Luna stared Twilight down.
This is non-negotiable. I am not risking him for a glorified puppet show.
Twilight decided not to push it. Luna was putting up a good point. Their potential assassins were still out there, and she wondered if she could use magic somehow to soften the visual impact of Regden's armored look. A distortion field that would blur his image, maybe? No, she rejected that idea. It would only make him seem worse. Maybe. She was taken out of her thoughts by an enormous donut-filled plate landing in the midst of the table.
Make room, you food bandits. I have your orders here.
He laughed. He passed a smaller plate to Spike and made his way back to the seat holding a small stick of breadsticks for himself.
By the way, guess who finally made it?
Twilight looked to the side and she saw him. Her face lit up with a smile and she waved cheerily at him. Trapped in the corner as she was by Applejack and Fluttershy, she couldn't get up for a hug.
Hello, Blueblood,
She said.
It's so good to see you again.
Lady Twilight, the White Stallion greeted back. A pleasure as always. I'm sorry for my delay, but...
You!
Rarity hissed, sounding remarkably like a cobra. She had finally noticed who had joined them and made her displeasure known. Prince Blueblood blinked at Rarity twice and jumped back in reflexive defense once he recognized her. Ah, it's the gold digger! He cried out in alarm. Rarity's anger sputtered out in a short display of indignation before attempting to reignite itself. It was not given a proper chance to do so, however, by Regden's howling laughter.
Wait,
He said as he guffawed.
she was the Gala's gold digger you told me about.
Yes!
No?
Regden kept laughing, shielding his eyes from watching too much of what he considered hilarious beyond words. You attached yourself to me like a leech as soon as you saw me, Blueblood loudly accused Rarity.
I was just trying to get to know you.
Rarity defended herself, raising her voice.
A decision I thoroughly regret.
Oh, and tell me, my dear lady, was the desire to know me born of anything else but my title and wealth? Blueblood pushed.
Listen here, you miserable facsimile of a stallion. Your title is all that's known about you with the way you hide yourself, and I can see why.
Rarity spoke through her gritted teeth.
You threw me in front of a crashing cake to save your sorry hide.
I certainly wasn't going to put myself in front of a pretentious mare that only cared to... Regden, please, can you stop with your cackling? Regden wiped tears from his eyes.
Sorry. It's just...
Snickers kept escaping him despite his efforts.
Let me introduce you. Rarity, this is Prince Blueblood. Noble Lord of the House of Blueblood. Prince Blueblood, this is Rarity, owner of the Carousel Boutique. Did I get the name right?
Twilight nodded.
Right. Owner of the Carousel Boutique, fashion designer, and the bearer of the element of generosity.
Regden covered his face with his palms as he kept on laughing. Luna, Spike, and the rest of the girls had joined him in a more temperate fashion. Prince Blueblood deflated.
Oh, so... yes,
Rarity said with enough bitterness to ruin every single pastry in the shop if given solid form.
not a gold digger.
Thank heavens for this little moment. Thank you.
Rigdon chanted in the muffled confines of his hands. Blueblood timidly took the empty seat next to Fluttershy. His expression brightened up as his eyes roved over the table. "Oh, breadsticks," he said and pulled them over his way with his magic. "I love them. Crunchy, delicious, and healthy. Thank you, Rigdon." Rigdon's last were cut off as his food levitated away from him.
Oh, this is so exciting. I feel like one of those female fatales in the spy novels.
Rarity squealed, clapping her hooves. Rigdon made a snapping noise with his fingers in front of Rarity.
Look, this might be dangerous. Are you sure you want to go ahead with this?
He was loath about their choice of actions. Rarity huffed.
Please, I'm going to be fine. Acting is in my blood. I was born for the stage.
Rarity said with a flare, flipping her mane.
It's true,
Rainbow agreed, nodding sagely.
She's been voted Ponyville's resident drama queen 3 years in a row.
Rarity gave the stink eye to Rainbow, Radiant's long arms getting in the way of giving her a black eye instead.
Anyway,
Rarity continued,
it's all laughingly simple. I will attend tomorrow's dance as Prince Blueblood's date and make a thinly disguised show of wanting to earn favor with any nobles. I'll let slip that I have unlimited access to Princess Luna's schedule and accommodations, as well as yours, Rigdon. If some pony approaches me...
She halted.
Well, what do I do if some pony does?
Rarity asked, genuinely curious. Luna answered her.
You seize their offer with your teeth. Promise them anything in return for access to their circle of associates. Look desperate and needy.
Rarity hesitated.
And if they ask me to try and kill you?
Then you say yes, Rigdon urged. We will put up a show of an assassination you planned. We barely escaped from if we need to. We will have to figure out the rest as we go on. First step is to make contact. If by chance any of my political opponents ask you to perform any kind of damage on me, make it plain that you do not care for hurting your noble Patreon.
Blueblood interjected.
Loyalty to noble blood will make you even more of a desired tool for them if they believe they can trust you.
Do mark up their names if you can, though. Oh, and stay away from my aunt. You do not want to end in her bad side or her good one.
The one from your father's side?
Rarity asked to confirm the mayor's identity. Of course, Aunt Celestia is not going to be there, nor would she be a danger. Dear heavens. If my father's sister comes to you, and she probably will, endure her insults, then hurry away. Blueblood's voice was filled with urgency.
Hey, isn't she the one that really wants me dead?
Rigdon tapped at his lips as he recalled the mayor in question.
Didn't she tell me once that she would have my skull as a litter box for her cat?
Yes, she did, Blueblood answered tiredly.
Fun lady, that really made me laugh.
Rigdon chuckled, slapping his hand on his thigh.
She might be a good bet, actually, but Blueblood is right. Stay away from her, little white.
Rigdon had become serious once again.
She is dangerous.
Rarity nodded, a bit shakily as the seriousness of the situation was making itself clearer to her.
So I just stick around with Shining Armor playing secretary while Rarity goes right into the Timberwolves' mouths all alone?
Rainbow Dash challenged Rigdon. She wasn't very happy about her assignment, or letting her friend go somewhere like this alone.
You are not going to be playing secretary, Rainbow Dash,
Luna said as she threw a last piece of the donut she was eating in her waiting mouth.
This will be for your front. Your real mission is another.
Rainbow shone with excitement.
Oh? Do I have to sabotage someone? Go behind enemy lines and...
No, but you will still like this one.
Rigdon was nursing a glass of water, refusing to fall in what he perceived as the trap of ordering drink for himself only for somebody else to take it from him.
Your job is to go on the Royal Guard training halls, or mess hall at every opportunity, and bedazzle the guards there as much as possible.
Rainbow's smile widened.
I like this plan, but, why?
You go in there, Rigdon explained, and show off your stuff. Then, whenever you get the chance, spread stories about how you got into a fight with me and almost kicked my ass. Tell them about how you kept kicking at my stitched side.
Rainbow Dash blushed at the reminder.
We want to know which ones have it in for me, or Luna. Make a good show of not trusting me in particular. We can't give you explicit directions because we have none. You will have to feel your way around. Look for opportunities to dig deeper.
Raiden winked at Rainbow.
Maybe make a comment or two about earning some extra bits to a few guards Shinigami will point out to you.
So, basically, I really am a spy operating freely behind enemy lines, right?
Rainbow asked with a smirk on her face. Raiden and Luna stared at each other before shrugging and saying,
Sure.
in unison.
Yes!
Rainbow Dash fluttered in the air with her right hoof going up in a victory pose.
I'm a freaking spy. This is awesome! You know, when you said we'd be coming here, I didn't expect this to become a cloak and dagger thing.
Twilight said with some wonder and worry mixed in a perfect ratio. Rainbow lightly punched his shoulder.
Ease up, Egghead. This is gonna be fun.
She said enthusiastically. Twilight shook her head in exasperation. Rarity and Rainbow were treating this like a storybook plot, but there were ponies out there that were actually planning regicide. If they got wind of them, who knew what they would do? Spike lifted his arm to ask a question.
Rarity and Rainbow aren't actually going to be in danger, are they?
Luna shook her head.
We don't believe so. We will be keeping an eye on them, however. Do not fret, young Drake. Shinigami is aware of their assignments, as is my sister.
Twilight's mouth popped open, and Raiden and Luna, the Don't Tell Celestia duo, the keepers of secrets, and the pair that can stand in front of a burning building in an attempt to hide it while stating that the day was just a tad hot and insist nothing was going on, did that?
You actually spoke to Princess Celestia about this? I thought you were dead set against it.
Raiden refilled his glass from a pitcher.
We couldn't very well endanger your friends, no matter how willing they are, without taking some measures for their safety, could we?
He took a quick sip.
Have you talked to her about...
Twilight nodded her head towards Luna, who raised a questioning eyebrow at her.
Yeah.
Raiden slumped in his seat, looking defeated. There we go. I had to cut this in half somewhere, but don't worry. I'm deciding on whether or not to do a nose or TLG tomorrow, because my TCP slot is not ready yet because I'm still getting art. Otherwise, I hope you guys had a wonderful Valentine's Day yesterday. A little late on that, my bad. What I'm not late on are thanking my wonderful Patreons. Thank you, my tier 1 Patreons, Squall Windfeather, Brain Flicker, Starlight Blaze, Dreamless Portal, Thine Tiny Equine, and Stewhex. My tier 2 Patreons Chase Lemaster, Sword Brother and Mordred, Solus, HKH4 aka Texture, and The Animated Ghost. And of course a large thank you to Silent Titan. I appreciate your guys' support so much and it means a ton to me. If you also want to support me, consider checking out my Patreon, or of course joining the Discord. Likes, comments, and of course subscriptions also mean a ton, and I appreciate it all. That aside, however, this has been Firehearth. Have a wonderful day.